And I've been on so many calls and people ask, like, what is it that you need to be successful? What do you need? You know, whatever, right? And my first question to them is always, what do you want? It's just a direct, what do you want? So I'm asking you guys this question right now in the chat. And there's, I would say, what, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Okay, so close to 50 people in this chat. And I'm hoping to get 50 responses, you know, within the next 5 seconds. All right, chat's kind of dry, right?
Yeah.
And the reason it's like that, right, is because we wake up every day. We are like excited about what we're doing. We're working our behinds off, right? But if someone asks us directly what it is that we want, a lot of times it takes us time to think about it. You know? And so, and I get responses, which I love these responses, right? Creating a legacy for my family to benefit for years to come, wife, kids, and happiness, financial stability, family stability, what have you, right? I love what Melissa said. I want a home on a mountain. Good. Lauren, great. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, right? But most of us post things or say things that are very, very vague. For instance, someone said, Wes, you say you want to live comfortably. Can I tell you that when I was working in Long Beach, California, there was a homeless guy living super comfortable. I would literally see him. I'd like leave the office on the way out, right? And you know, it's beautiful weather. I'd see this guy in like a office chair that he like carried around with him around Long Beach, right? And I just see him on the corner like this. And he's just like basking in the sun, getting like all of his vitamin D, tanning in this beautiful weather. All of his needs are taken care of. He had everything he needed right there, right? And he was very comfortable. You know, no one messed with him. You know, he looked fit, whatever, but he was just around. He got his food, he did whatever. And you just see him around different parts of Long Beach, chilling, living the life, worry free, right? And so I say that to say, your vision has to feel real. And think about the things that feel very real to us. Things that feel real are specific. Things that feel real is something that you can picture in your mind. So if I would say like, y'all, I saw this big, ugly, furry cat with one tooth hanging out of his mouth. You know, he had patches of hair missing all over his coat. He was wired. He probably had the mange and rabies, and he was going psycho in the front yard. You could probably imagine what this cat looks like because the way I described it felt real. You know, or if I were to describe, like, any of you guys remember the show Flavor of Love from like forever ago?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if I were to tell you to imagine how ridiculous this show was and imagine what Flavor Flav looked like, some of y'all are already like, Flavor Flav, you know, and that type of thing. That's an example of feeling real. Well, we set goals and wonder why we don't hit them when the goals that we set, they don't feel real to us. So I want you to draw out just really quickly a little matrix, if you can, on whatever you're writing on. And there'll be like 2 columns. And in the first column, I want you to put, if my phone allows me in, there we go. In the first column, I want you to write housing. And the second one, I want you to write family. The third one, health and fitness. The fourth, finances. And there's just like 2 columns of 5. In the third, I want you to put career. I'm sorry, I think we're at so family, health and fitness, personal development should be 1. Finances should be 1. Career is another. Relationships, fun and recreation is in another. Giving and charities in another. Environment, and the last one would be spiritual community. And what you do in each of those boxes is you describe specifically what it is you want in that area. Some people draw pictures, some people write out whatever, right? But let's say you put finances, you want great finances. What's the number? What's the number this year? What's the number next year? What's the number in the next 5 years? What's the number when you retire? What's the age next to it? Family, same thing. What do I want my family to look like? What are my relationships like? You know, if you're married, what do you want your marriage to look like? If you're single and you want to be married, what do you want that relationship to look like? What type of person do you want it to be? How do you want them to make you feel? And this is why this is so important. I meet people every day that are in situations they hate, but they've never been specific about the situation that they want out of life. And so when you decide what you want in those areas, right? And I hope you guys are writing and just listening. When something pops up that's out of alignment with what it is that you want, you know to make a different decision. For instance, if your goal is to be married and the next person you meet is like, I just don't know if I'm ready for a relationship. Don't go out with them anyway. Why? This person is out of alignment with what I said I wanted. And then when you do the opposite of that and they wreak havoc in your life, we as humans tend to turn around and blame them. When really we're to blame. Why? Because we made a decision that's out of alignment with our goals. You know, sometimes I meet people who they feel bad, like, and they say this statement, right? I should be blank than this. What's the word that the 2 words that are in there? Somebody say it or put it in the chat. I should be. Say that again.
Better than.
Better than.
I should be better than this. Or you should say, I should be further along than this, right? But my retort to that is, should you be? And if so, where is further along for you? Because if you haven't stated it and made it very clear about what further along is for you, then no, you shouldn't. Because everything that you accomplished began first in your mind. That was the first place that you accomplished it, is in your mind. The second place you accomplished it was in the real world. And if you're in a position where you're like, I just don't feel like I accomplished a lot, you probably haven't imagined a lot yet. You've just kind of been following the rules and trekking along with how life is coming to you. Those who accomplish a lot imagine a lot. And then they write down a lot. And they strategize a lot. And they plan a lot based on what it is that they've imagined. And once they plan a lot, they do what I call correct a lot. Correcting a lot is saying, hey, you said you wanted to be in really, really great shape for the next year. You said you're going to lose 50. You just had red velvet cake every night this week. That is called a course correction. Go in the refrigerator, pick it up, throw it out. I'm from the South. I don't know if all of you guys eat red velvet cake. That may be a Southern thing. I don't know. Y'all, okay.
It's good,
All right.
but I'm also from Oklahoma, so.
Okay. Okay. It's good.
eat red
And
velvet
around
cake,
this
and I'm
time
from
of year,
Ohio.
it seems like everyone has red velvet cake. I'm like, get it? Okay. But that's what's called a course correction. So hopefully you guys have written out what it is that you want to accomplish. The next thing I want you to do is write down why you haven't done it yet. For some of you, you're just in process. For some of you, you might be scared, like we say down here. You are scared. We don't know what you're quite scared of, but somehow the boogeyman has given you some fear and you've lost your heart. What is it? Is it the Tin Man that was looking for a heart? You are out here like the Tin Man, trying to get some heart, but something is just getting in the way, right? And then we say things like this: "It's just my team. They won't get together, but you don't have the heart. Why should they follow you? No one follows someone who looks scared every day." You know what I mean? So why haven't you done it yet? Sometimes, and this is the key, things for me never change until I look at myself and tell myself the truth. And every time I do this, my life goes up another level. And this is hard because we live in a society that is afraid of offense, to the point to where we won't even offend ourselves. There's been times where I had to look at myself and say, you know what? Yeah, you're cute, but you're broke. You're lazy. Your apartment is shit. Your relationships are terrible. And your life leaves much to be desired. Much to be desired. You watch too much reality TV because you want to be taken out of the reality of your situation. And that's why you're binging so much TV and binging so much media. And it wasn't until I had that look at myself and asked myself, if nothing changes about your life in 20 years, will you be happy? Or are you going to want to throw up? Are you going to be, sitting on someone's couch asking why? And sometimes you have to ask yourself that question. If nothing about my life changes, in 20 years, will I be happy? In 30 years, will I be happy? And if not, how can I change the picture today? Because some of us, we move towards something, and some of us are people that have to be kind of pushed away from something. Like it has to be an ugly picture that we remind ourselves of that says, you know what? I 100% can wake up earlier. I 100% can start and be in my business earlier. I 1000% can slow down for that extra conversation, right? So once you decide what you want, and you've had the corrective conversation with yourself, and the point of that is not to beat yourself up. The point of that is to recognize where in your game can you squeeze out a little more juice. We don't get better because we lie to ourselves and say that we've given all that we can give. I've done everything. How many times do you guys think of this and say this to yourself? I've done everything. No, you haven't. Because if you'd done everything, you'd be there already. None of us on here are trying to put a ship into space. Not one of us on this call. None of us are working on anyone's heart, right? No one's going into cardiac arrest and we have to bust their chest open. Like we're not doing that level of work. And then we meet doctors and people in our lives that they're just going to try something. Even when they think they've done everything, they're like, all right, I've got one last trick in here to save Mr. Earl, okay? And hopefully they pull it out and Mr. Earl makes it to Christmas dinner, okay? So once you have the real life conversation with yourself, I want you to write down right now, one, what you've been saying to yourself. the truth of the matter and what in your course needs to be corrected. And
Could you
really what
repeat that
this is, yes?
I was just saying, could you repeat that last thing you just said?
Girl, it's so hard. You got to catch
Sorry.
me while I'm rolling. You got to catch me while I'm rolling. Okay.
Right.
So you're writing down what it is that you want, why you're not there yet, and then what you can do to squeeze that extra bit of juice out of what you're doing day to day. I remember I had a trainer once. I was like, I just can't drop weight. He's like, okay. And I was like, he's like, you're just not eating right. But you know what we're going to do? Every day you're adding an extra hour of cardio. Do you know how quickly I drop weight? If you work out for an hour and then you drop an extra hour's worth of cardio on top of that. But you know what I ended up doing? I ended up just eating less because I was like, this is way too time consuming. I do not have time to lift all of these weights and to run for an hour. I just can't. I just can't. It's just not in my spirit. It's breaking me down emotionally. I just can't do it. Right? But that's what I mean by there's always something extra that you can do. So right now, I want somebody brave to come off of mute. What is it that you want? Why you're not there yet? And how you're going to squeeze that extra juice out to get there.
Okay, so I know I already said I want a house on a mountain. I am not there yet. I'm still in the process of earning the money to do that, to get out of the apartment, be able to be financially thriving. And if nothing changes in 20 years, no, I'm not going to be happy. Still going to be stuck in an apartment. I'm not going to get what I want. Things that I need to change. I need to work harder. Need to continuously have a more positive attitude when I'm out at work, having locked in, clocked in mind in order to just get the job done. If that means I have to work the extra hour that I don't want to work, then I'm going to have to do that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I love it. So she just stated what she wanted, how she's going to get there. The only way that I would say to get even better with that is saying, when do you want the house? When do you want the house? The second thing is
in 2 years.
All right, in 2 years. All right. How much money are you going to spend on the house? Because there's a house in a mountain can look like a lot of different things. You can get a tiny home in a mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, I can find you one off of a wholesale website right now that'll drop you off a tiny container home, right? All you've got to do is find the land and some plumbing, right? Or is it going to be a cabin? If so, what size? What have you? And then when you say you want to work harder, what does working harder look like for you? What does that mean? How is it changing your schedule? How is it changing your intensity? I meet so many people every day that are beating themselves up because they're not getting results, but they're doing the right things at the wrong intensity level. You're walking the treadmill every day for an hour when really it's supposed to be on steep incline, running for 30 minutes. So you're already spending the time. It's just the intensity level is off. And then and let's talk about the one piece that she said, which is attitude, right? I keep a pair of my dad's boots in my office, and they're the boots that he wore while in the war in Iraq. He was one of the first people deployed into Iraq during the war in Iraq. And the reason I keep those boots in the corner of my house or in the corner of my office, and they look like they've just been worn in ugly places, right? Because there's nothing that's going on in my day that's harder than what he was experiencing then. No matter what happens, everything that we go through outside of, deaths in family and stuff like that are really irritations in comparison to what a hard day is like. None of us has bullets flying around us. None of us are losing patience, meaning you don't have to break it to someone's family that they died. None of us are fighting for our lives. None of us are in, the war in Ukraine, fighting for our country. Like, we're not doing that, right? So when we wake up and we don't have the right attitude, you have to have that real conversation is, I've let irritations keep me from my goals. And it puts it all in perspective. You have someone that comes into your business and they have all these excuses and you quit. That's an irritation. That's not changing, the direction of your life. You get what I'm saying? That's an irritation. You having to go to the field and you don't feel like it is an irritation. Having, people disrupt something or whatever, they're just irritations that add up. And at a certain point, you have to say, like, look, I am not softer than medicated cotton. And that's real soft. It's the non-luxurious version of the softest cotton you can get, which is like Egyptian cotton. But this one is just like, let me get some medicated cotton to slow this pain down, right? I am not softer than medicated cotton. And an irritation should not change my attitude and make me misalign with the goals that I have. And this is a really important thing when you talk about your goals and vision is subconsciously, we all think that there's going to be this turn on moment where the light switch is going to go off. And then suddenly everything just meshes together. And that there's just this magic moment and suddenly you're like, have momentum, you're whatever. When really the only switch that goes off is the switch in you that says, I'm gonna light this up every day, all day, every day, no matter what happens. All right. Period. I just got back from New Orleans visiting my family for Thanksgiving, right? So they play a lot of Lil Boosie. Right. And they're like, and he has this song that if they ever play it out anywhere in Louisiana, I don't care how old you are, where you're from, he has this song called Set This Blank Off, right? And everyone just starts going crazy, during Mardi Gras. But that's literally the feeling that you have to have. You get up every morning and you're like, look, I'm gonna set this thing off today. Period. And you have to make that decision every day. And the only light switch that makes your goals happen is you switching that thing on and saying, I'm setting this off every single day. And you what you do is you go in and you start your day and you just chip away. You chip away at the goal every single day. Let's say her goal, she needs, 40K for the house that she's going to get, right? Well, guess what? Maybe, and I don't know who all is on the call. Maybe it's all owners. Maybe it's a mix of recruiters, owners, whatever, right? But maybe you start off today and say, you know what? I'm going to make my business is going to make an extra 500 than what it does on average. How are we going to set this off? And then maybe the next day you say, look, we're going to make an extra 1,000 than we do on average. How are we going to chip away at this? Who do I need to light that fire into? How do I create the excitement in the environment that's conducive to producing, that level of energy? I've been working with a lot of creatives, right? Because of my husband and from musicians, producers, singers, actors, whatever, right? One thing I've learned from them is how intentional they are with setting their environments to make sure that they're in the space to perform. We don't do that. We'll walk into our office, get on Zoom, just raw, carrying whatever it was that you had going on in life right into that environment, and we expect magic to happen. It doesn't, it doesn't happen like that. Leaders, managers, thank you so much, Danny. All right, so you know what you want. We've talked about why you're not there. Hopefully you've asked yourself and given yourself some reality checks of why, and you know what you have to do. The next thing is, how can you make your goals, what you're going to correct and what you're going to do more of, a part of your daily process. I set my schedule daily, not based on a to-do list. I set my schedule daily based on my short-term vision and my long-term vision. And I prioritize the things that are going to take me a step closer to reaching that. And then once I do those things, I take care of everything else. Because everything else is just maintenance. That's not my actual work. Everything else are things that I can delegate. Everything else I can hire a virtual assistant for. Everything else I can, do whatever, and the house isn't going to fall down. But my house will fall down emotionally, mentally, confidence-wise, if I'm not doing things daily that take me closer to my goals. And you have to etch this in to your day-to-day schedule and your day-to-day process. How is generating revenue a part of your day-to-day process? Based on your goals, is that your number one priority? For some of you, it may be etching more time into planning your conversations. Why? We make money as humans by igniting people towards a cause or a desire. I don't care if you're selling a product. I don't care if you're a brand for this. I don't care if you're in sales. It doesn't matter what you do. Some part of your goals is igniting another person to get in alignment with the vision. That's it. And you see people do it all the time. They're all just plays, right? They're all just plays. And what they do is they do outrageous things to get the attention so that they have the opportunity to get in alignment, to get you in alignment with whatever vision that they have for you. And you ask yourself, like, why do people come on TV and do crazy stuff like that? Shout out to Kanye West. Why do people do this? Why do people do that? And the answer is attention. But the only thing that we have to ask ourselves is, they're getting our attention for what? What is it, the next thing that they're trying to do that they're doing so much vying for our attention for? Whether or not you realize it, all we do is wake up every day and try to influence the levels of motivation around us to our vision. That's it. You don't have control over anything else in your business except for the levels of motivation that people have to work towards the vision that you've put forth, if you've put a vision forth. So make sure that you set up a process day to day that prioritizes your vision. For some of you, that means you may have to switch up your entire schedule, because your entire schedule right now may be prioritized towards, like, I got to make sure I check my emails from the client. Got to make sure I get my Salesforce. You know what I mean? Right? Instead of prioritizing the vision. And then the last thing I want you to do is to ask yourself, in what portions of my day-to-day process have gone stale? Okay? And think about it. Any of you guys ever been in a stale relationship or a stale anything? Or you join a team and it's like, ugh, there's just no energy in here. One of the hardest things for me that I used to do a lot more was Brandy would send me to people's offices And I walked in and it was like days old bread open in like the pack. The pack's been open and on the counter for a week. Nobody wants to make a sandwich with that bread. Nobody wants to. Why? Because it's stale. Who wants to walk into a stale environment with a lot of rules? You can't even throw stale bread in the toaster. You just gotta throw that thing out and get some new bread or bake some, right? But what part of your day, you have to have an honest conversation with yourself. What part of your day has gone stale? I promise you, there's times where I've gone into people's leaders meeting and I'm just watching, I want to slit my throat. And I'm like, these people keep coming back every day for this? That's stupid. I'm like, the only they found some stupid people willing to participate in this stale meeting with no energy, no nothing, just mayonnaise on old bread. Nasty, just nasty, right? What part of your process has gone stale? Sometimes we're not hitting our goals not because we don't have a great plan and we don't have a well-organized business and we're not following the rules. Sometimes it's just stale and no one wants to be a part of that. No one wants to be a part of that. Put in the chat right now, what part of your business has gone stale? What part of your process? What part? Maybe you're pitching everybody every day and it's just stale. Let's see what's in here. Let's see if we have some truth tellers in here. No, not yet. Not yet. We haven't made it to that point. Thanks, Forrest. Right? What part of your business has gone stale? Everybody come off of mute. Unless you have something crazy in the background. If you have something crazy in the background, I'm going to talk about you. All right. What part? Lauren, what part of your day-to-day has gone stale? Yes, you. She just gave me the eyes like, yes, you.
Probably routines.
Name something specific. Don't give us this week. I want the tea. I want the tea. My routine? Yes, of course. The word routine in general is already stale.
True. I guess the balance between personal growth and business growth, just balancing everything out and keeping myself on track.
Okay, I have no idea what that means. Give me something specific, Lauren.
Not going to bed on time and getting up early and being able to be refreshed and ready for the day.
Okay, so you're just starting your day off on a coffee high. Basically. Oh, at least it was that one. She has the kind that has like antioxidants in it. We used to just go straight up monster back in the day. Just give yourself heart palpitations, right? Just kill yourself. All right. Jason, what's gone stale? I think it's Jason Sanic. Oh, you're on mute again though. You clicked it and then clicked it again.
Going stale is my where I am as far as my living arrangements, where I am.
Okay, it's gone stale. What are you gonna do about it? How you gonna sprinkle some Lil Boosie on there? I hope you guys all go afterwards. And some of y'all are like, what is this song?
This fire.
I'm not getting anywhere with where I want to be in progression, with moving out. So what's going stale is you got to work harder and push harder, and like you said before, just to work more on an incline. Not just work, but work harder within that same time period that I'm doing. Or I might be working hard enough, but I need to work smarter.
Okay, good. My next question is, and I hope you guys write this in the chat, how are you guys going to ignite the people around you? You have this goal. How are you going to ignite the people around you? Because that's always the hardest part. And especially a lot of times when you aren't hitting your goals, things have gone stale. So you have a lot of just zombies walking around. What are we going to do today? How's it going? And they're already, and especially if things have been stale, like you walk in, leaders meetings aren't that excited, people aren't that excited to train, they're not excited to coach, they're not that excited to exchange, they're just going through the motions. Sometimes the hardest thing is to get people out of alignment with that, right? It's like going like I tell people, don't invite me to a bad party. You know, you ever walk into a quiet party? Don't invite me to this old stale party. If I want to do that, I'll go to a work networking event. Okay. And just, you know what I'm saying? Drink a second cup of coffee each morning. All right, Brian, you better be careful with those cups of coffee. All right. The goal is you got to ignite the people around you, right? Keeping positive energy, thimbles, a second thimble. I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. Wipe me down. Yep. You playing wipe me down. I know, yes, Grant, you don't know. Playing wipe me down in the morning can't help. That could be your first step in your office, is playing Lil Boosie wipe me down. Because no one can resist the shoulders, chest. I think it's head, shoes, right? Shoulders, chest. Okay, either way, no one can resist it. So that may be a good first step. I'm not gonna lie. As ignorant as it could be, yes. Fresh kicks, fresh TC, y'all are already getting excited from just going through the lyrics on Zoom. Imagine what it's like in person, right? Warrior shower each morning. I can't do that, but that's good for you, right? Imagine if for every high roller speech, and the highest of high rollers, y'all put on Boosie Wipe Me Down before they say their high roller speech. Imagine what that was like. And you let them walk in like, for the highest of high roller. You open the door, Boosie playing, right? Shoulders, chest, head, shoes. Crazy. That person will feel like $1 million. That would be a way to ignite people to get motivated to accomplish the vision, right? So all in all, the only thing I'm asking you guys to do when it comes to your goal is to wrap it all up. Is I want you to make it real. It has to feel real to you. And if it's not specific and it doesn't get you excited, meaning it's not a life-changing type of thing, it's not real to you. It's just something that you feel like is the right thing to say. And that's not going to ignite you to do it. The second thing I'm going to ask you is to course correct. Why haven't I been doing this already? And getting real with yourself about it. The third thing is I want you to make the corrections. Whatever that extra juice is that you know you have, apply it. Because life is not going to allow you to hit your goal without giving everything that you have. It's just not how the world works. There'll always be, you'll get so close and never there just because everyone's waiting for that last bit of juice from you that you just refuse to give. Next thing is I want you to prioritize your vision and what you want in your day-to-day process. Stop living by schedules. Live based on priorities and schedule your priorities. And the last thing is show up every day expecting to have to give some people some battery packs, especially during this time of year. This is like the time of a year where depression runs rampant. I don't know if you guys know that, but the holiday season is the hardest times on human beings. So if you want people to be successful and to see success, you're going to have to intentionally wake up and give them that battery pack. And the last thing is just decide to do it every day. Remember, you have no reasons not to be positive. There's nothing that serious going on in our day-to-day. We have the privilege of not having life-threatening situations happen on a day-to-day basis. Everything we deal with is an irritation. And most of the time, it's an irritation based on the decisions that we've set or the lack of standards that we have, right? And we're just reaping the results of those irritations. So that's all I have, folks. Any questions, comments, concerns?
Thank you.
You're
Well,
welcome.
thank you so much.
You're welcome. Let me scroll to the other side. I've been denying page 2 of 2.
Anybody got any one last thing? We appreciate you so much. That was great.
And you don't have to ask me a question just specifically based on this if you have one. I'm giving y'all another 10 seconds.
Anybody?
All right. Well,
I think it was great. We really appreciate it. We may be bugging you more to get on because we've had a lot of texts and side chats that you are awesome, which I knew, and a lot of people on here knew, but a lot of the leaders, I think it's the first time hearing. So hearing from you anyway, but we really appreciate it, guys. Take what you got from her. That sounds like the steps to really break down what you want to do. And then just got to hold yourself accountable, have a friend hold you accountable to really course correct and do it. Get on the right track, stay on the right track.
all right. Well, I'm gonna play this song for you guys. And
Let's go.
yeah,
Go.
this is the song you guys need to wake up to. Set It Off by Lil Boosie.
Oh my God.
And if you're not setting it off every day, there's a problem. Bye, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lauren, you understand the mission.
Yes.